Hello, colleagues. In the spirit of response to our annual work experience survey, I would like to reply to your comments about compensation and staffing because they are linked. Many of you shared concern about inadequate compensation for the work you do and not enough staff to get the work done. I appreciate your perspective and would like to respond and provide an explanation of our approach. Again, my intent is to inform you. I realize the explanations may not change your perspective, but you deserve a response. First, I would like to clear up a couple of myths in the comments. Vice presidents and senior leadership team members, including me, do not receive bonuses. We are paid according to the market, just like you. Also, money spent on buildings or investment in our community is from a different account called capital investment and is not the same source Gunderson uses to compensate staff. If we did not invest to improve our system or the community, the money from that account would not be available for compensation. Finally, the sun pins, backpacks, and jelly beans presented to you last fall were never meant as forms of compensation. They were simple recognition of the amazing work you have done and symbolic of the historic challenge we have faced together. In fact, the sun pins were donated and no Gunderson funds were used for them. These items aside, I'd like to address the staffing challenges we experienced in 2020. It is absolutely true that the pandemic stressed our system as never before. You are correct that we were incredibly strained by the pandemic. Much of that stress was experienced in fall 2020 when we had our great surge of COVID infection and admissions across our whole system. We were further challenged to respond to this surge due to the increased numbers of staff who needed to be out due to exposure and infection. We were hit simultaneously with increased admissions and decreased staff availability. It really was an emergency. We also remained committed to our patients with non-COVID serious illnesses after seeing them suffer with our prior postponement of non-urgent care. Eventually, we were forced to limit some of this care due to the urgency of the emergency. Nonetheless, this was an extremely trying time and required all hands on deck. With the surge occurring throughout our system and across the nation, there was nowhere else to send patients that needed us, and there was no help to be had. Fortunately, when we relied on you, our dedicated staff, you responded courageously to this unprecedented emergency. I acknowledge you sacrificed and became fatigued as the workload mounted and the stress increased. You were assigned to float in unfamiliar units, work in support departments, and generally absorbed more duties than usual. It really was all hands on deck. Many leaders took shifts to help as well. This was necessary to keep serving our patients. You did well, although it took an obvious toll on your energy, vitality, and pushed many to the edge of burnout. I am inspired by your dedication. I am grateful we have stepped back from the brink as the infection rate has declined and we have been able to return to a more normal pattern. Truthfully, while the demands with the surge were extraordinary, I realize some of your comments predate the pandemic. We have been working on increasing efficiency through assistive technology, encouraging practice to the top of license, and standardizing our work as a large system. This allows us to better serve our patients. By seeking comparisons to other high-performing, respected healthcare systems, we are evolving to a better understanding of staffing ratios. Admittedly, there have been many areas in the organization with comparatively high staffing ratios that we have thought normal. As we work to address the reasons for inefficiency and provide the tools to assist productivity, we have moved staffing ratios closer to the median in many departments. You are feeling the effects of this new normal. But here is the linkage between staffing and compensation. Nearly 60% of our expenses are for salaries and benefits. If we have more staff than is needed, we have less money to go to each staff member. When we have the right amount of staff to provide quality care, we can deliver better, competitive pay to our staff. Regarding compensation, almost every department expressed the opinion that pay needs to be increased. Of course, this is always desirable, but must be managed within the constraints of our organization's financial health. Here's our sobering reality. COVID has cost us $100 million. Even with all that we have done to react and stimulus money from the government, we will still end the year with around a $20 million loss. And remember that compensation also includes benefits, such as the 10.5% retirement contribution, the 401k matching funds, and insurance coverage. We have kept the amount of insurance payments that staff pay themselves for health and dental coverage at the same rate for 3 years as the organization absorbs the increase in cost while still expanding coverage. We added the benefit of the COVID sick bank to respond to the pandemic. Even in the pandemic, we chose to fully fund the retirement and 401k programs. I appreciate this is not the same as take-home pay. We could certainly have a conversation about the balance between benefits and pay, but our total compensation package is quite competitive. We pay based upon what the market dictates for the work being done. What market is used depends upon the type of work and how far we must draw for staff. Some markets are very local and include our individual regions. Some are statewide and some are national. Nevertheless, we adhere to market-based pay. This is the most equitable way to approach compensation. You will always hear stories about some location paying more for the job you do. The reality of those stories and the balance with benefits is often different than initially thought. The convenience store, supermarket, or even another healthcare facility may pay more per hour in wages, but their benefits package is not likely close to what you get at Gunderson. However, there are certainly times when the pay is better somewhere else. I sincerely hope that the purpose of the organization and the meaningful impact of your work, as well as how you are treated and respected at Gunderson, provide additional benefit to your well-being and life. We continually evaluate our market data and advancement of pay along our ranges based upon experience. I admit we do not always do this perfectly, but we work hard to keep it consistent and equitable across the organization. We continue to have different benefits at our affiliate hospitals. It would be great to evolve toward unity in this area in the coming years. We will continue to offer the best pay possible, and we hope to continue offering raises and market adjustments above inflation, so you see a real increase in buying power over time. There were several comments about my pay. It is true, I am highly compensated in my role. As mentioned, like other leaders, I do not receive the elaborate bonuses referenced in some of the comments. I am paid based upon the market, just like the rest of our staff. I receive no special treatment. After 5 years as CEO, I am not at the median for my position. I acknowledge my high compensation, but it is aligned with the CEO market. Since there were comments and discussions in the media, I felt you deserved to hear from me on this issue. In the end, we remain committed as always to competitive market-based compensation. With few exceptions, I am confident our HR department serves us well to meet this desire. You work hard and you bring incredible value to our patients and community. Working together, we succeed together. True, this past year has been extremely challenging and everyone sacrificed in some way. With the distribution of the COVID vaccine, we can now see an end to the torment and can look ahead to a brighter future where we can settle into a new normal, advance our care of our patients and community, and bask in pride at how we faced extreme adversity together and vanquished the pandemic. Thank you for your dedication, your sacrifice, and your care for each other through the darkest of times. Take care.